The capstone project. Selecting a topic. Selecting your topic is the most important factor in a successful student project. Selecting the wrong project is ultimately unfair to you. It can make your project harder for you to complete than it needs to be, and harder for you to complete than it is for the other students in the class and in the program. So please select your topic carefully. It will make a big difference. There are common errors in topic selection. For example, one error is to have a project that is too large. For example, a topic like the national debt, peace in the Middle East, or Social Security. These topics are too large for a capstone project that's limited to 12 pages. If it's too large, then you put the burden on yourself to do too much work to effectively complete the assignments. You end up doing a dissertation or a book, not a capstone project. A second common error is to select a topic that doesn't involve a policy. A policy analysis project has to be about a policy, a written statement of official position, a law, a regulation, an important rule, or a standard practice. Governments make decisions that implement or are compliant with policy, like purchasing decisions, but these are not policy analysis topics. Be sure that you select a topic which has a direct connection to a policy. The third common error involves topics in which data and information are not available. For example, you might have a great topic, but the information might involve classified information, or the situation may be developing so rapidly and so recently that information is not readily available. A fourth common error is to select a project which has no local situation. Your project has to involve a decision by a specific official in a specific place. It cannot be about a general problem like recidivism of correctional inmates in general, or improving emergency management everywhere. The problem needs to involve a decision that an official in a local agency, in a local office, in a local jurisdiction has to make about a policy. A fifth common error is to select a topic which doesn't lend itself to identifying options for change. In completing your capstone project, you will need to identify 3 to 5 options for resolving or ameliorating the situation by changing the policy that you've identified. The options have to involve changes in the policy. Some options are too simplistic or too complicated, and you can't readily visualize what the options are that you might propose, and so you should keep this in mind. The sixth and last common error in topic selection is to select a topic where the analysis is too complicated. You need to ask yourself how you would know that one of your options is better than another one of your options. You'll need to be able to do some kinds of comparisons, and if you have very complicated or very, very different options, it's hard to make the comparisons in an accountable and transparent way. So where do you start? Is there a topic that you know about because of your work experience or because of prior study? Is there an agency or an official who you have access to? It's always good to start with a topic where you personally have some experience or knowledge about the topic. Another approach is to consider existing policy studies. Is there a study completed in a distant jurisdiction that you find interesting and that might serve as a model for your project? The advantage of locating an existing study is that it provides you with a model for the project that you will do. Obviously, you can't copy the existing study, but it's a valuable resource in suggesting techniques for developing your project as the components are due. Let's consider an example. Let's start with the Office of Program Policy Analysis and Government Accountability in Florida. The office is called OPAGA. In case you're interested, this is the address for the website of OPAGA. At the OPAGA website, OPAGA publishes an annual list of the policy analyses that it has conducted for Florida agencies and for the Florida legislature. The list goes back to 2004, and so there are literally thousands of policy analyses about problems in local and state government agencies and legislative policy issues of importance. For example, here we've drilled down into the consumer services and agriculture studies conducted in 2010. Here, for example, is a study about Florida's consumer complaint system. Could you do an analysis of the consumer complaint system in New York City or in the area where you live? Would this OPAGA study provide you with leads on options to consider and on best practices? The report on the OPAGA website includes examples of how tables of data can be used to assess or describe the problem or situation. Could you develop similar statistics for New York City or for the community that you designate? The study, like all OPAGA studies, identifies options for improvement. Typically, but not always, the OPAGA options involve policy changes. That is to say, the changes involve legislative changes or administrative changes in rules or practices or structures, and they require changes in policy documents in order to be implemented. Would this report give you ideas about policy options for your project? OPAGA has thousands of policy analyses for state and local government and related agencies on many, many, many different topics. Might there be an OPAGA project that could be a model for your project? Could you apply it to New York City or to a local agency in your area? Issues that you might consider would be, do the options apply locally in the area you're studying? What local policy would be affected by the options? Where can you find local studies and additional information? Is the OPAGA literature review up to date? How would you want to expand and update the literature review that you find? OPAGA is but one source of policy studies, and there are many other sources of policy studies. For example, there is the General Accountability Office, there's the Project on Government Oversight, and there's the New York State Comptroller. Professor Colvin maintains a comprehensive list of policy websites. The updated list is in your Blackboard site for week 2. These sites provide examples of policy analyses just like OPAGA. The policy analyses can stimulate your thinking about topics that you might want to consider, and they can be of vital assistance to you as you proceed to implement your capstone project. In summary, selecting your topic is the most important factor for a successful capstone project. Selecting the wrong project is unfair to you. It can make your project harder for you to do than it needs to be. As you proceed with your project, don't get behind, but if you need to change your topic, catch up with the weekly assignments as quickly as you can. Thank you.